This was a question that was on Twitter this morning. I think this is a great learning spot. Now, we've talked about buying points before, but there's a lot of new viewers to our show. I mentioned Kansas City's headed to 4, at least in one book in Las Vegas, and I think that that's where the other books are going to be. So if right now your book is holding a 3.5, should you buy it to 3? Yes or no, and why?
Now, see, I love these this is what matters more than any picks. And this is what we don't do a good job of in the sports betting market. In the financial market, they do. Like if you want to trade options, you're going to have to let them know your P&L, that you've done it, that you know what you're doing, because they know on the other side of your option trade is going to be a shark. And 99% of 99.9% of the time, those new option investors are going to get eaten alive. Those sharks on the other side of that trade are going to destroy you. So they protect you, just like with accredited investment nonsense like that. We don't have that in the sports betting market. And we need more PSAs like this. Let me make it simple. For casual bettors, don't ever buy points. Just make it that simple. You're not nuanced enough to understand when you should buy points. So don't ever do it. Just make that your rule. Don't buy points. If you're afraid it can't cover 3.5, but your team can cover 3, then you shouldn't be betting it. Just make that your new rule. Again, you want to get the best of the 3 long term. You'll be plus, positive ROI doing that. But make it your rule. Now, personally, here's what I do, Kel. I know we have data, Ralph sent over data of how many times games land on 3 since 2020. I have another guy that sent me since 2015 with the change of the 2-point conversion, how many landed on 3 when the line was 2.5, 3, or 3.5, how many times favorites win by 3, all that stuff. That's all great. That's all data. Bottom line is I live in the real world. And in the real world, the only time I think for casual bettors, they should never buy points. But on 3 is, number one, if you look at the betting lines, and you see you're getting it discounted, meaning a shop like Penny is charging extra vig. So you buying that 0.5 point gets you a better number. I know it's hard for you to grasp. I'm not for you to grasp it. For me to articulate it is where the problem comes in. I could make it as simple as saying if you're paying more than 10 cents, don't ever do it. But that's not true because the math actually shows that on 3, you could lay up to 20 cents, up to 17 cents in some spots, 22 cents in other spots. So again, whether it's plus EV up to a certain spot, there's arguments amongst quants back and forth, and it depends how big of the sample size, with the 2-point conversion, without the 2-point conversion. So again, I don't want to go on a rant. Let me keep it simple. Do not buy points. If you miss the number, that's it. You wait for your next best bet. There's always going to be another bet to make, another plus EV situation. If minus 110 at 3.5, you don't think Team A could cover it, but at 3 they would, that don't make sense. The only reason you should be buying it is because it increases your chances of winning based on games landing on 3 and this and that. And again, I don't want to make it harder than it needs to be for you. So my advice is just don't buy. And most books out there, especially the ones 98% of casual bettors are betting into, they're charging you too much for it anyway. Unless you're getting minus 105 lines and they're charging you 10, 15 cents to buy on and off 3, you shouldn't be doing it. Or unless you're getting minus 110 lines and you're able to spend up to 10, 15 cents. You're spending more than 20. That's why I'm saying, let's not make it harder than it needs to be, Kelly. Don't buy points. The books you're betting into are not going to give it to you at a discount. They're going to make you pay more than you should for that, like they do with the teasers, as I explained in that video. So just don't do it. Don't make it harder than it needs to be.